Despensa. Those intro videos are actually supposed to be for our Friday show. My bad, Holmes. Cholo Trucker here, Los Tres Chingones Boxing. Shouts to all my chingones and my chingonas out there, my brothers in crime, David Contreras and Mike Zavala. Man, okay, let's we gotta talk a little bit about what happened over the weekend. I'll tell you guys a little bit of what it was like for me to be there inside and all. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and touch a little bit on Vasily Lomachenko. He went in there against Ortiz. I didn't really know too much about Ortiz. Undefeated fighter, right? I think he was like 16-0. There was a sparring partner, and this was Lomachenko's, I guess, comeback fight, right? Getting back into the ring after everything that happened, him going over to Ukraine and all. And I was looking forward to it. Unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, because I was covering the zone card, I wasn't able to watch Ortiz Lomachenko live. Since then, I went ahead, checked it out. It was a good fight, man. It was a good fight. I enjoyed it. I dug it. Here's the thing, because it was afterwards where I was starting to hear, a lot of people saying that Loma is done. He's washed up, or he's just not the same. Maybe it was the war, maybe it was the time off, maybe it's his age. But either way, a lot of people are believing that Lomachenko is done for him. Man, look, going into this, I thought Lomachenko was probably going to stop Ortiz. Okay. That I did not know that this was going to be as competitive as it was. I thought it was a pretty good fight, man. I was really digging it, and I was impressed with Ortiz. Now, listening to a couple of boxing shows, there are some people that believe that Ortiz won that fight. Some people believe that Ortiz beat Lomachenko. Now, look, while I think Ortiz put up a great effort, and he should be recognized for going in there and putting in the fight that he did against Lomachenko, I didn't have him winning the fight. It was a good one, and it was a close one. And I just think people were probably thinking that Lomachenko was just going to go in there and make easy work of him. And because that didn't happen, now it just comes off as believable that Ortiz actually beat Lomachenko. Nah, homie, that's not what I saw. I mean, maybe you can make an argument. What's up, G Funky? Maybe you can make an argument, but in reality, no, I still had Lomachenko winning that fight. It didn't go down at all the way I thought it was going to go down. Right? I thought Lomachenko was going to stop him. Is he washed up? Is it over? I mean, look. We don't really know too much about Ortiz, right? This guy could be all that in a bag of chips. I had 116, 112, Lomachenko. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people are, saying that he lost the fight. That's not what I saw. It was a great effort by Ortiz, and he should definitely get recognition. And I definitely want to see his fights again. I definitely want to see him fight again. But he did not win the fight, though. What's up, Daniel? I think he gave it to him the first half, but lost it. Lomachenko. Or lost it to Lomachenko. Okay. Yeah, I mean, at some point, Lomachenko had Ortiz kind of stumbling around. But look, this is nothing. I mean, because it doesn't go down the way people expect it to go down, that doesn't mean that, hey, Lomachenko lost the fight. No, he won the fight, Holmes. Maybe, like I said, could be that Ortiz is really all that. Why can't that be it? Why does it have to be that Lomachenko is washed up? Why can't it be that this young kid? I mean, think about what people are saying, man. You're taking credit away from this young up and coming kid. Why can't it be that this kid is really all that, Holmes? Because I'll tell you this, next time he fights, I'm watching. I don't even really care who he fights, right? I mean, he's coming off a loss. I don't think he's going to get, a big notable name, but I really want to see him fight. I really want to see. Was it him? Was it Lomachenko that's a little washed up? Because I don't think Lomachenko is washed up. We got to remember he spent a lot of time out of the ring. This was pretty much his comeback fight. If he needed to knock the ring rust off, hey, Ortiz knocked it off of him. What's up, Joaquin? Everybody writing off Loma, but give credit to the young, big and hungry Ortiz. People gonna make a mistake judging Loma off this fight. I agree. I 100% agree. Give credit to this kid. And not only that, I really hope that maybe this performance makes other fighters say, like, hey, you know what? I think Lomachenko has kind of lost a step or two. Now it's time to really make the fight with him. Because in my eyes, homie, Lomachenko is still a top dog. I'm not saying he's the top dog. Okay. I'm not saying he is the top dog, but he's still one of the top dogs. Absolutely. And with this new kid Ortiz in here, we'll see what happens with him now. He gained a fan base. Shoot, I want to see him fight. Anticipated and competitive fight because Ortiz has great hands and foot speed with good boxing skills. Yeah, he does. He's got some pretty long arms too to go with it, and that definitely helps. So, and he's in there with a veteran, man, with a real crafty veteran, and he held his own. So, yeah, give credit to the youngster. So, what happens from here now? Let's talk a little bit about what happens from here, man. We'll start with Lomachenko. Man, I'm gonna be real. There's nothing really that I can think of that's gonna be in the very near future that's really gonna blow our socks off for Lomachenko. He's getting older. I've said it before, man. Time is not on his side. For him to get any of these big names, I just don't really see it, man. I don't see it. There's names there, definitely, right? But you got to think about the politics in boxing. You got to think about the different promotions in boxing. Of course, we could throw names out there. We could throw out the Tank Davis. We could throw out the Pitbull Cruzes. We could throw out, possibly Devin Haney. I mean, that's the one that everybody's looking at because that one can actually be made. Will it be made? I'm not going to hold my breath on it, but I think it's possible. And look, after this, yeah, yeah, I could definitely see them making. I could definitely see. I always thought Devin Haney. Um, I always thought he did want the big fights. There's all this kind of, oh man, he's ducking this, or fighters are ducking and ducking and ducking. When I see Devin Haney, I truly believe that he does really want the big fights, right? If everybody remembers, it was Lomachenko that was supposed to go out to the Thunder Down Under in Australia, but he chose to go fight for Ukraine, and Devin Haney filled that void. So I do believe that fight can happen. Will it happen next? Like the very next fight for both of them? That's the part that I have a little bit of trouble with. I have a little bit of trouble believing that. I hope it does. We don't need to waste time. And Devin Haney, look, think what you will, but the guy looks like skin and bones making 135. However, I do want to say this. I forgot who said this, but I heard somebody say this, and I thought it was a great point. He may look super sucked up. Devin Haney, Devin Haney, that is. The Vato might look all sucked up, making 135, but he's still performing pretty well in the ring. So until it starts affecting his performance in the ring, we can look at him aesthetically while he's trying to make the weight, getting on the scale, and say, like, damn, this dude is skin and bones, man. But until it actually starts affecting his performance, then keep making that 135. And against Lomachenko, I don't see a reason why not to stay at 135. Hopefully, that's what we have to look forward to. Because outside of that matchup, I don't see anything else going on for Lomachenko, man. That's the fight that everyone's been waiting for since Teofimo Lopez, since he moved, out of the division. Yeah, exactly, G Funky. That's exactly how he looked, dog. Looked like Michael Jackson in Thriller at the weigh-in. Yeah, all sucked up. I saw the same thing. But until it starts affecting his performance in the ring, hey, if he can make it, he can make it. And if he can make one more fight, just one more time, then it might be worth it, depending on how long he has to wait. Word is there is a little bit of footage out there that Lomachenko had to go to the hospital after the fight. Nothing major, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know if he's going to take time off. I don't know. Well, I mean, when I say time off, I don't mean he's going to take a year off, but who knows? Maybe he's like, hey, you know what? I went the full 12 rounds. I want to, let my body take a little bit of a breather, and maybe I'll come back, say, in June, which that's making Haney wait a long time. Haney's still growing. So hopefully they can make this happen like in March. You start getting after that, you start getting past that, you start getting into April and May. I don't know, man. I don't, Haney might outgrow it in that time. Let's see. It's amazing to me how some of these guys make the weight. Ortiz is big lightweight. Yeah. Yeah, he is, man. And since we're talking about weight, see, his youth is keeping him at 135. Yeah, G, I agree. But his youth is also keeping him growing too, man. So he can lose all that weight and then recover pretty fast because he is young. But if Lomachenko wants that fight, man, he can't be taking too much time off. I understand he's been away from the sport for a while and he went the distance. And then look, I'm not gonna say that, he was in a war against Ortiz, but he was in a pretty good fight, man. Right? I mean, they both suffered some damage. How much time is he gonna need just to let his body heal? Hopefully not long. So I'm hoping, by December, we're hearing a date announced that, hey, you know what, in February they're throwing down or something like that. Hopefully they don't wait till the summer. But speaking on weight, let's move over to the Zepeda and Jojo Diaz fight. I was there at the fight and I was talking to anybody and everybody that I possibly could. And nobody was able to tell me why the fight was not at 135. There were rumors, right? I heard people say, I think I heard this, or I think I heard that. But I didn't get anybody that said, this is why, right? Now I'm hearing people saying that it was Jojo that couldn't make the weight and they just kind of accommodated him. And let me touch on that real quick. And let me ask you guys this. All right. Do you guys like that? I do and I don't. Let me explain. I do because I want the fight to take place, right? You got the weigh-ins the day before, and if somebody doesn't make weight, it's like, well, what? The fight's off? It's like, nah, Charlie, man. I still want the fight to take place. So that's why I do like it. However, I don't like it because in the long run, it's gonna bring an element of undisciplined fighters. And that is going to be, in the long run, it's going to be bad for the sport. So I'm kind of on the fence, and it seems like is it just me? Because honestly, I did not go back and do any research on this. What's up, Impala? Is it just me, or am I starting to see this a little bit more take place? A lot of these fights taking place at some weird weights, and they're not actually fighting in the weight class. And it's not even happening at a catch weight that they both agreed to beforehand. It seems like it's happened a few times already. Like it's happening more and more. Like I said, I like it and I don't. Why? Ultimately, I want the fight to happen. That's why I like it. But in the long run, it's going to push just undisciplined fighters out there. And that's why I don't like it. Hey, let me go ahead and touch on the co-main event real quick, man. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch that. It was Alexis Rocha versus Jesus Perez. That fight stole the show. In my opinion, that was the best fight in the entire weekend. That was a great fight, man. This Jesus Perez kid, this guy's got no quit in him. Rocha was hitting him with everything, including the kitchen sink, and this guy just would not stop going forward. Badass fight. Badass fight, man. Loved it. We got a chance to interview Alexis Rocha afterwards, and he said he wants to go out to the UK. He wants to go fight in the UK. He brought up, check this out, man. He brought up the name Conor Benn. Now, I don't know if he knows what's going on with Conor Benn or if he just believes that by the time he's ready to fight again, that everything's going to be worked out with Conor Benn. I'm not really sure. But he brought up the name Conor Benn, and for damn sure, he made it clear that he and his camp, they are going to the UK. They want to fight in the UK. And look, honestly, I don't blame them. There's a lot of money to be made over there. The UK's been coming up, homie. No ands, if, or buts about it. The UK has been coming up. It was at some point everybody was just trying to get here to the States. Everybody was trying to get here. Everybody wanted to fight either at Madison Square Garden or in Las Vegas. Now you got some fighters talking about going and fighting in the UK. At 147, where do I put Alexis Rocha? I think he's good. I think he's good. I don't think he's anywhere, to be great. But I think he's man, I'm trying to put a number to it. But now I'm thinking about other fighters, and maybe I might need to drop him down a little bit more. Look, I like watching him fight, man. I think how about this? He's still got a ways to go before he really starts competing to be the guy at the top there. Or to compete with the top guys there. I don't think he competes, obviously, with Spence or Crawford. I don't think he competes with Boots Ennis, and I don't think he competes with Virgil Ortiz. Good fighter. Kid's got some heart. I liked his attitude, man. That dude was back there chopping it up with us. I'm a fan of his. But let's not push him too fast, man. So he wants to go to the UK. I think that's good for him. Still needs to get some experience under him. Because I do see some flaws. He's got quite a chin, though. I will say that. He took some good shots, but he was all right. And believe it or not, when he got to the back, his face wasn't really all that marked up. And he went trick-or-treating after the fight. Did he? But yeah, we'll see what happens, man, with Alexis Rocha. Good kid, good fighter. Still needs some more seasoning, man. Still needs a little bit more seasoning. So hope to see him get out there to the UK. Like he said, he made it clear that is what he's going to do. So I don't know if they got plans already or what, or they're gonna make plans, but he made it clear that is his next move. They are going to the UK to fight. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, coming to Jojo Diaz and William Zepeda. So, all right. Going into this, I was thinking Zepeda was gonna win, but I was rooting for Jojo Diaz just because I like Jojo Diaz, man. I just do, man. I like his warrior heart. The guy's got no quit in him, and he's always an action-packed fighter. I've always liked watching Jojo Diaz fight, even when he had his hair looking like a damn snow cone. Let me see. Orcha solid, but not elite. Just the way it is. Some guys get blessed with that little bit extra. Joaquin, I couldn't agree with you more on that, dog. I couldn't agree with you more on that. He is solid, but not elite. Will he ever be elite? Man, I don't want to say no, but if I had to put, if I had to put Fetty on it, I would say no, man. I would say he can get better than what he is, but I don't ever think he'll be the top guy. Let's see. Big fan of JoJo. Win, lose, or draw. He always brings it. That's my point, dog. So that's my point, man. So I was rooting for JoJo Diaz, but I had said it's better for the sport if William Zepeda wins, right? He's a little bit younger, and not too many people really know much about him, especially if you're talking about like the casuals, right? He's not like a household name, but this right here, this was gonna get him out there, and I think it did, man. So speaking about the fight, Holmes, look, Camaron does not know how to stop throwing punches. The guy just throws. He just throws punches. Now, I was listening to my boy G Funky, right? Shout outs to G Funky Boxing right there. You guys go check out his channel, man. He's one of the real ones out there in the boxing YouTube world. He was saying that Zepeda got hit a little too much, right? And that it probably didn't affect him because Jojo Diaz is not, he doesn't have heavy hands. And he's right. Jojo has never had heavy hands, even when he fought at 130. Jojo has never been known to be knocking mofos out, right? So Jojo did land some good, clean punches, even a couple of good combinations at times. But I'm wondering if Zepeda just, I don't want to say allowed himself to get hit, but just didn't care because he's like, I'm eating up your punches, Holmes. There was a time right there where it looked like he did get a little hurt. But it just kind of seemed like Zepeda, Camaron, like his best defense is his offense. Because he doesn't stop throwing punches. And if he doesn't stop throwing punches, then he probably doesn't need much defense. Now, I saw numerous of numbers of that he broke records and stuff like that about how many punches he threw in a round and how many punches he threw in a fight. I'm not really sure because, the numbers that I saw were a little bit different each time. So I don't want to come out here and report it because I got 3 different sets of numbers. Either way, this guy threw un chingo de chingazos, dog. And look, just being honest, Jojo just wasn't busy enough. And I don't think Camaron even let him. And the thing about Jojo Diaz, I didn't see a lot of head movement. I didn't see him slipping any punches. He just kind of put his guard up and blocked the punches just like that. Just put the guard up and let Camaron just treat his gloves and his arms like a punching bag. And that's not a good way, man. You're still absorbing those punches. And by the way, if a guy doesn't stop throwing punches and you want him to get tired, make him miss. You get more tired throwing punches to the air than you do hitting a punching bag. And if you're just standing there and you got your guard up and you're just allowing him to tee off on you, yeah, maybe they're not getting in there that clean. But the guy doesn't stop throwing punches and you want him to get a little winded. Good. Make him slip some punches, man. Make him miss. Jojo would just stand there, guard up, and just take them all, absorb them all. That's not a good strategy. But look, hands down, there's no controversy here. Camaron definitely won the fight. What happens from here? Well, look, Jojo Diaz, man, my boy Mike Zavala has been saying Jojo Diaz is a gatekeeper. And I said it on Friday that I don't think Jojo, even if he were to win against Camaron, I don't see Jojo being the top guy at 135, right? He can definitely put on some good fights, and bring the best out of fighters. But I just don't see him being the number one guy, homie. I just don't see it, dog. Kind of like what I was talking about, Rocha. However, Rocha is still learning, still coming up. Jojo Diaz, I think he's had his moment. I think Jojo hit his peak. I'm not saying he's on a downward spiral. Nah, he's what, 29 years old, 30 years old. But he hit his peak. I don't think he's going to get any better. What you see from Jojo Diaz, I think that's it right there. Which is good, but not great. He can compete with the best, but can't beat the best. But look, he still got a career. He can still make some money. He can still get into some pretty good, I don't want to say major fights, but he can still fight some top guys. Put on some good fights, make some feria. Jojo was overwhelmed. Yeah, he was overwhelmed. Camaron doesn't stop punching. He just doesn't stop punching. And he was taller, longer arms. So I hope to see Jojo in the ring again, man. I've been a fan of his for a while, man, and I will be again, dog. So when he fights, I watch, homie. I watch. Now let's talk about Camaron. What is next for him? So I was part of the media, and I was able to interview fighters afterwards. And you guys can watch. You guys can see it. It's been I got it downloaded here on Los Tres Chingones Boxing. Also, my boy G Funky, he went ahead, put a nice little package together, just so you guys could see what I'm about to say. So, Camaron basically wants a fight or thinks it's a good fight between him and Ryan Garcia, right? Now, we can throw in all kinds of names. We could throw in Tank Davis. We could throw in Pitbull Cruz. We could throw in all the names that you want, Holmes. Here's the thing. Don't forget that this is boxing, right? The political promotions that go with it. Is it likely that he'll get Tank Davis? Chale. Pitbull Cruz? Chales. The one that he can pretty much, dog, I shouldn't say guarantee, but close to it, is Ryan Garcia. They're both under the same umbrella. That fight can be made. William Zepeda, with this win over Jojo Diaz, now catapults his career, his popularity. It catapults him now. He's got a nice little fan base going for him. A fight against Ryan Garcia is not far-fetched, man. They're both under Golden Boy. Let me see. The longevity of a fighter's career is based on their fighting style. Training habits and habits out of the gym bring too. Speaking nothing but facts, Joaquin. Speaking nothing but facts, carnal. So, Zepeda versus Ryan Garcia is pretty much the only big fight that can be really made, right? All the other 135 guys, they're under other promotions, and forget about it. Those fights aren't happening. Now, we know Ryan Garcia moved up to 140, yet he still hasn't fought a true 140 guy, right? But he said that's where he's going to be at. Okay. And rightfully so, man. Look, Ryan Garcia, he's a tall kid, and you could just see, his body. His body is getting bigger. So, thing is, Camaron was asked, what does he think about a fight with Ryan Garcia? And Camarón said all the right things except for the very end. Okay, what did he say? He said all the right things. He said that would be a great fight. He would love a fight with Ryan Garcia. Right? He said all the right things, man. All the right things. Where I'm like, what are they, dog? This will be a nice, good fight. Except at the very end, where I personally asked him, would he move up to 140 to fight Ryan Garcia? His answer, no. Ryan Garcia would have to move down to 135. Okay. Chingones, that fight's not happening. Ryan Garcia is not moving back down to 135. And this fight with Jojo Diaz took place, I don't even really know what weight it took place. I know Camarón came in at 137 and Jojo came in, I think, at like 137 plus. Now, if I were Camarón, okay, and you don't want to fight Ryan Garcia at 140, then answer it maybe with a catch weight. But just to come out and blatantly just say no, basically it's got to be at 135. You're pretty much just saying, man, that fight's not going to happen. You just got the best win out of your career. And I think it was my boy G Funky that was saying, and let me ask you guys this. Is Camarón beating Jojo Diaz a better win than any of Ryan Garcia's wins? I'll ask you guys that. Think of Ryan Garcia's wins, right? Think about his victories. Camarón beating Jojo Diaz. You could make an argument that is a better win than any of Ryan Garcia's victories. To tell you the truth, I don't even know if you need to make that big of an argument. I mean, who are we talking about? Luke Campbell, which is a solid win. It's a solid victory. Don't get me wrong, Holmes. I'm not looking down on that. Luke Campbell is a solid victory. Is it a better one than Jojo Diaz? I don't know, man. And then you got dropped in that one. Ryan Garcia got dropped in that one. Sure, he got back up and scored the knockout. But I don't know, man. I think it's a good argument that Zepeda's win over Jojo Diaz is a better win than Ryan Garcia's ever had. This is the time for Zepeda to start building, homie. Because I can't really think of too many names that he can get in there with. All those other big names, they're, as they say in the boxing world, they're on the other side of the street. Those fights aren't happening. Let me see. Zepeda sees the amount of money he'd make fighting Garcia. I bet he changed his mind, or at least I'd hope so. Yeah. Okay. Could it be possible that maybe he feels he can't win? Thus, let me just keep on going and get another 2, maybe 3 fights, and then I'll go fight Ryan Garcia. Could that be possible? I don't know. He seemed pretty confident. He seemed confident in his performance. He seemed confident after the fight. He seemed confident talking about Ryan Garcia. He said all the right things when he was asked about it, right up to the point where I asked him, would he move to 140 to fight him? He said no. At least say, well, maybe at a catch weight. At least. So what's next for Camarón? Don't know, man. I really do not know. But I will say this. He did earn some fans, right? That place was rocking and rolling. It was not 100% sold out. It was probably about uh, 75 to 85% full capacity, right? And the fans were split pretty much down the middle, homie. Serio. Which is good to see. I like seeing that, dog. I like seeing that because what usually happens is that the Chicano fighter doesn't really get much love, and everybody goes for the Mexicano, right? At least that's how it was years ago. That's how I always used to see it. When you had a Chicano facing a Mexicano from south of the border, even the Chicanos from up here would start rooting for the Mexicano. So I was glad to see that, hey, JoJo was getting some love, homie. It seemed pretty evenly split. And that was freedom to see, man. So let's see what happens with Zepeda. This Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, 136 that they agreed on. I'm not. Don't hold your breath on that, man. Do not hold your breath on that. But hey, Joaquin, I think you're onto something, Holmes. I think you're onto something. If Ryan Garcia, right? If he says, like, you know what? I want Camarón. And they go to his pad with a briefcase full of feria. I mean, there's that saying in boxing, dog. Money's always the problem, but it's always the answer as well. So, it just struck me wrong, dog. It just struck me wrong that Zepeda would just come off like that without even entertaining, like, well, you know what? I'll think about it, or you know what? Maybe a catch weight, or just. But he was just so dead on bolt, homie. Just no. Like, come on, dog. Tank versus Cruz 2 is next, and nobody's gonna complain about that. Nobody's gonna complain about that. I was at the Andy Ruiz versus King Kong Ortiz fight, right? And Tank, I'm sorry, Tank. Pitbull Cruz was the co-main event. After he won, the entire arena, the whole arena. By the way, Tank Davis was there in attendance. The whole arena started chanting, "We want Tank, we want Tank," and it was crazy, dog. It was crazy. I don't like the energy from Zepeda regarding the Ryan fight. Yeah, I didn't really much either, man. Unless, like I said, unless Zepeda truly feels that he cannot beat Ryan, unless he feels that and thinks he needs a few more fights. But he looked confident, man. We're chopping it up with them. He looked confident. He looked good. He looked very sure of himself. But I mean, he's not going to come out and say, "No, I'm not ready for that." I just, unless he truly believes that, hey, you know what? I'm able to eat up Jojo Diaz punches, but not Ryan Garcia's punches. He'd be right. In all honesty, he'd be right. Ryan Garcia, hey, anybody could think what they want of the kid. The kid's got some pop to his punches. So unless Zepeda feels inside that, you know what, I still need a little bit more work before I get in there with a Ryan Garcia, because I don't just want to fight Ryan Garcia. I want to beat Ryan Garcia. And right now, I don't think I'm ready for it. Unless that's the reason, which he's not going to admit to any of the media. So that could be it. I don't know, man. Tank is fighting Mares, que no? Look, I'm not seeing anything, man, with that being announced. Hang on, let me see. Let me look this up real quick. I have not seen any announcements, just speculations here. Ryan is a very dangerous opponent for Zepeda. Yeah, I think Ryan is a very dangerous opponent for just about anybody, man. Tell you guys the truth. People may not like him. That's cool. Nobody has to like him, but we cannot say that the kid doesn't have fast hands, fast combinations, good combinations, and power. Yeah, I'm trying to see if anything was announced with Tank. I am seeing that they are going to announce Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman for December 17th. I'm not seeing anything else. So, but hey, we'll be all over that, man. Hey, for everybody on here, go check out my boy G Funky Boxing, man. Like I said, he's one of the real ones out there in the boxing world. And look, the show that in Espanol, just for this week, we're moving it to Thursday. There's a lot going on tomorrow. So for this week, we're getting moved to Thursday. And on Friday, okay, this Friday, in a way, I kind of hate making statements and proclamations because life could get in the way, So let me just go ahead and say this. Should everything go right, this Friday, we're going to have Marvin Rodriguez on with us. What's up, Vanessa? If you guys are wondering, hey, who is Marvin Rodriguez? Marvin Rodriguez is the founder of Marv Nation. Marv Nation Promotions. What's Marv Nation Promotions? Marv Nation Promotions are the ones that picked up the fight between oh, son of a gun. Now that's left my mind. Regis Prograis and Zepeda. So we're gonna have him on here. Should everything go right, and that's pretty big, man. And the reason why that's pretty big is because this is a pretty nice big fight, right? Between Jose Zepeda and Regis Prograis. And he's such a small promotion, and he picked up this fight. So again, we're gonna have Marvin Rodriguez. He is the CEO of Marv Nation Promotions. So we got a lot of questions for him, man. How was he able to pick up this fight? And what's the future, man? What's the future hold, right? So shout outs to the, some small promotions out there trying to do some stuff, man. And it's gonna be pay-per-view as well. So I mean that's pretty big. So hopefully we're trying to get our foot in there. So hopefully I'll be at that fight, either just as a fan or hopefully working, man. Because I had a great time. That was the first time being part of media, and it was awesome, man. It was awesome. So yeah, again, the Spanish show in Espanol is going to be Thursday, not tomorrow, but Thursday. And then Friday, we'll have our show, man. Obviously, talking about Bivol and Zurdo and everything going on. Morel's fighting. And we're also going to have that promoter on there from Marv Nation, man. So with that, shout outs to all my chingones, all my chingonas out there to the next round. Hey, you guys be good.